Dr. Angela Thompson wasn't just visiting the aircraft maintenance hangar that day to satisfy curiosity, but when airline engineers questioned her expertise, her NASA credentials revealed something that would revolutionize everything they thought they knew about aerospace engineering. Dr. Angela Thompson approached the massive Boeing 787 Dreamliner in the sprawling maintenance hangar at Seattle-Tacoma International Airport with the precise movements and analytical focus of someone who had spent the last 25 extraordinary years pushing the boundaries of aerospace engineering, designing revolutionary propulsion systems, and developing cutting-edge technologies that had fundamentally transformed both commercial aviation and space exploration through innovative research programs conducted at NASA's most advanced facilities across the United States and international partner locations. At 47 years old, she carried herself with the quiet confidence and intellectual authority that comes from earning 3 advanced degrees from Massachusetts Institute of Technology, publishing over 100 peer-reviewed scientific papers that had become foundational references in aerospace engineering literature, and leading multi-billion-dollar research projects that had resulted in breakthrough discoveries in aerodynamics, materials science, and propulsion technology that were now standard components in modern aircraft and spacecraft systems used throughout the global aviation and space exploration industries. Her credentials included a PhD in aerospace engineering with specializations in computational fluid dynamics and advanced materials research, a master's degree in applied physics with focus on thermodynamics and energy systems, and numerous professional certifications from NASA, the Federal Aviation Administration, and international aerospace organizations that recognized her expertise in aircraft design, safety analysis, and technological innovation that had earned her recognition as one of the world's leading authorities on commercial aviation safety and efficiency optimization. Today's visit to the maintenance facility was part of her ongoing research into structural fatigue analysis and predictive maintenance technologies that could revolutionize how airlines monitor aircraft condition and prevent mechanical failures before they occurred, potentially saving thousands of lives and billions of dollars in operational costs, while advancing the safety and reliability of commercial aviation to unprecedented levels of excellence and technological sophistication. Her navy blue blazer bore the subtle NASA insignia and professional credentials that immediately identified her to knowledgeable observers as someone with extraordinary qualifications and authority in aerospace science. Though her appearance as a black woman in a field historically dominated by white men often led to immediate assumptions and prejudiced reactions from individuals who couldn't reconcile her obvious competence with their limited understanding of contemporary scientific leadership and technological expertise. Lead maintenance engineer Robert Kane, a veteran technician with 15 years of experience who had developed strong opinions about who belonged in aircraft maintenance environments and who possessed the technical knowledge necessary to understand complex aircraft systems and safety procedures, immediately noticed Angela approaching the aircraft and felt compelled to investigate what he perceived as an unauthorized intrusion into a restricted work area where only qualified personnel were permitted access to expensive aircraft and sensitive maintenance operations. Kane's background in traditional maintenance procedures and his limited exposure to cutting-edge aerospace research had shaped his assumptions about technical expertise and professional qualifications, leading him to believe that he could accurately assess someone's capabilities based on superficial characteristics rather than actual credentials, education, or professional accomplishments that might not be immediately apparent to casual observation. "Excuse me, ma'am," Kane called out with obvious annoyance and territorial defensiveness as he approached Angela with the aggressive posture of someone who believed he was protecting sensitive aircraft and maintenance operations from unauthorized interference by individuals who lacked proper qualifications and technical understanding necessary for safe and effective work in complex aviation environments. This is a restricted maintenance area that's only accessible to certified aircraft technicians and authorized engineering personnel with proper security clearances and documented technical qualifications. His tone carried unmistakable implications that he seriously doubted Angela's legitimacy and professional standing, suggesting that her presence in the hangar represented some kind of security breach or administrative error that needed immediate correction through firm but professional removal from the premises. Angela paused in her careful examination of the aircraft's composite wing structure and turned to address the maintenance engineer with the patient professionalism that had served her well throughout her career when dealing with skeptical colleagues, bureaucratic obstacles, and institutional resistance to innovative research approaches that challenged traditional methodologies and established practices in conservative engineering environments. "Good afternoon," she replied with calm authority, while retrieving her comprehensive identification package from her leather briefcase, which contained NASA credentials, FAA authorization documents, and university research permits that established her legitimate access to aircraft inspection and technical analysis activities. "I'm Dr. Angela Thompson from NASA's Aerospace Research Division, and I'm conducting authorized structural analysis research on composite materials and fatigue monitoring systems as part of our ongoing safety enhancement program." Kane examined her credentials with exaggerated skepticism and obvious reluctance to accept their validity, holding the documents at arm's length as if they might be counterfeit or somehow inadequate to justify her presence in what he considered to be his exclusive professional domain, where technical knowledge and practical experience were more important than academic credentials or research qualifications that might not translate into real-world understanding of aircraft maintenance procedures and safety protocols. These NASA papers don't necessarily mean you understand practical aircraft maintenance or have the hands-on experience necessary to safely interact with complex aircraft systems, he said dismissively, while returning her credentials with obvious reluctance and continued suspicion about her motives and qualifications. "We've had problems with academic researchers who think they understand aircraft but end up causing expensive damage or safety issues because they don't appreciate the practical realities of maintenance operations and the potential consequences of inappropriate interference with critical aircraft systems." His condescending explanation and obvious bias against academic research credentials demonstrated his fundamental misunderstanding of the relationship between theoretical knowledge and practical application in modern aerospace engineering, where advanced scientific research and practical maintenance operations were increasingly integrated through sophisticated technological systems and analytical methodologies that required both theoretical understanding and hands-on expertise for effective implementation and optimization. As the confrontation continued in full view of other maintenance technicians, quality control inspectors, and engineering personnel who worked in the busy aircraft maintenance facility, Angela began documenting the systematic patterns of exclusion and institutional bias that were preventing her from conducting legitimate research activities despite her comprehensive authorization and internationally recognized expertise in exactly the types of advanced aerospace technologies and safety analysis procedures that the facility claimed to support through their modernization and efficiency improvement initiatives. She observed how male engineers and technicians were automatically granted access to aircraft systems and technical information without any challenges to their credentials or invasive questioning about their qualifications, while her presence was consistently treated as suspicious and potentially problematic. Despite her superior educational background and extensive research experience that far exceeded the qualifications of most personnel working in the facility, the differential treatment was so obvious and systematic that several witnesses began expressing discomfort about the discriminatory behavior they were observing, though none felt confident enough to directly intervene in what appeared to be a complex professional dispute between someone claiming NASA affiliation and experienced maintenance personnel who were responsible for aircraft safety and operational integrity. Kane continued his obstructionist behavior by demanding additional verification and questioning the scope of her research authorization, apparently hoping that bureaucratic obstacles and administrative delays would discourage her from pursuing her legitimate scientific investigation and force her to seek alternative research opportunities at facilities where her qualifications and expertise would be more readily accepted and appreciated. "Dr. Thompson," he said with barely concealed hostility and professional resentment, "I'm going to need you to provide additional documentation from our facility management and detailed explanations of exactly what you intend to do with our aircraft before I can authorize any kind of inspection or research activities that might interfere with our scheduled maintenance operations." His unreasonable demands for supplementary authorization that would never have been required of white male researchers demonstrated the systematic barriers and discriminatory obstacles that continued to limit opportunities for qualified women and minorities in aerospace engineering and related technical fields, where institutional bias and cultural resistance to diversity often undermined scientific progress and technological innovation. Angela recognized the familiar pattern of bureaucratic harassment and professional exclusion that she had encountered throughout her career. Though she remained committed to conducting her research and advancing scientific knowledge, despite the personal and professional challenges created by individuals who prioritized maintaining traditional power structures over supporting legitimate scientific inquiry and technological advancement that could benefit the entire aviation industry through improved safety systems and operational efficiency enhancements. As word of the confrontation spread through the maintenance facility via informal communication networks and social media posts from workers who were documenting what appeared to be obvious discrimination against a qualified researcher, more technicians, engineers, and supervisory personnel began gathering around the aircraft to observe the developing situation that was creating tension and disrupting normal operations, while raising serious questions about the facility's commitment to supporting legitimate scientific research and maintaining professional standards of conduct. Senior Quality Inspector Maria Santos, an experienced professional with 12 years in aircraft certification, who had witnessed far too many instances of discrimination and bias in the male-dominated aviation industry, approached the growing crowd with obvious concern about the potential legal implications and reputational damage that could result from inappropriate treatment of someone claiming NASA affiliation and advanced academic credentials in aerospace engineering and materials science. "Is there some kind of problem here that needs management attention?" Santos asked diplomatically while observing Kane's aggressive posture and Angela's professional composure, immediately recognizing the discriminatory undertones and institutional bias that were preventing a qualified researcher from conducting legitimate scientific activities that had been properly authorized through established channels and regulatory procedures. "We're just trying to verify this person's credentials and research authorization," Kane replied defensively, his explanation sounding increasingly weak and discriminatory as more witnesses gathered to observe his behavior and question his professional judgment in handling what should have been a routine interaction with an authorized researcher conducting legitimate scientific investigation. Angela continued her patient documentation of the systematic obstacles and discriminatory treatment, while maintaining her professional dignity and scientific objectivity despite the obvious frustration and anger that any reasonable person would experience when facing such blatant institutional bias and unprofessional conduct from individuals who should have been supporting rather than obstructing legitimate scientific research and technological advancement. Among the growing crowd of observers were several aircraft engineers and technical specialists who began recognizing that Angela's credentials and research focus were far more advanced and sophisticated than anything they had encountered in their practical maintenance experience, creating growing awareness that they might be witnessing discrimination against someone whose expertise and qualifications exceeded those of anyone currently working in the facility. Chief Engineer David Rodriguez, who had been monitoring the situation from his office and growing increasingly concerned about the potential implications for the facility's reputation and regulatory compliance, finally decided to intervene directly and assess the situation before it escalated further and created serious problems for the organization's relationships with federal agencies and research institutions that were essential for ongoing operations and future contract opportunities. Chief Engineer Rodriguez approached the assembled group with the decisive authority of someone who understood both the technical requirements of aircraft maintenance operations and the legal obligations governing non-discrimination and equal access to research opportunities for qualified scientists and engineers regardless of their demographic characteristics or the prejudiced assumptions of individual employees who might harbor bias against certain categories of researchers or professionals. Dr. Thompson, he said with immediate respect and professional courtesy after quickly reviewing her NASA credentials and research authorization documents, I want to personally apologize for any obstacles or inappropriate treatment you may have experienced while attempting to conduct your authorized research activities in our facility. His intervention immediately changed the dynamics of the situation as other personnel began to understand that serious consequences might follow for anyone who continued obstructing legitimate scientific research or engaging in discriminatory behavior toward qualified professionals who deserved the same respectful treatment and collaborative support that was routinely provided to all other researchers and technical specialists who utilized the facility's resources and expertise. Rodriguez carefully examined Angela's comprehensive documentation package, which included detailed research proposals, NASA project authorization, FAA permits, and University Institutional Review Board approvals that established her legitimate authority to conduct advanced materials analysis and structural fatigue research on commercial aircraft systems and components. These credentials are not only legitimate, but represent some of the most advanced research authorizations I've encountered in over 20 years of aircraft engineering and maintenance operations, he announced to the assembled group with obvious respect and growing awareness of the extraordinary qualifications possessed by the researcher who had been so inappropriately treated by his staff. Dr. Thompson's research into predictive maintenance technologies and composite materials analysis could provide significant benefits for our operations and the entire commercial aviation industry through improved safety monitoring and enhanced structural integrity assessment capabilities. Kane watched with growing discomfort and professional embarrassment as his supervisor clearly established that his discriminatory behavior and obstructionist tactics had been directed toward someone whose qualifications and expertise far exceeded his own understanding of advanced aerospace engineering and scientific research methodologies that were becoming increasingly important for modern aircraft operations and safety enhancement programs. The revelation of Angela's extraordinary credentials and the chief engineer's obvious respect for her work created immediate pressure for accountability and professional conduct that would ensure appropriate treatment and collaborative support for legitimate scientific research activities that could benefit everyone involved in aircraft maintenance and safety operations. As Chief Engineer Rodriguez continued reviewing Dr. Thompson's extensive documentation and research portfolio, his expression gradually shifted from professional courtesy to obvious amazement and growing recognition of the extraordinary level of expertise and achievement represented by the individual who had been so inappropriately dismissed and obstructed by his maintenance personnel based solely on their prejudiced assumptions and limited understanding of contemporary aerospace research and scientific leadership in the 21st century. Dr. Thompson, he said with increasing awe and professional admiration as he studied her publication record, research grants, and technical accomplishments that revealed the scope of her contributions to aerospace engineering and space exploration technology. I'm beginning to realize that we have the extraordinary privilege of hosting one of the world's leading authorities on aerospace engineering and materials science research. The documentation revealed that Angela was not simply a qualified NASA researcher or competent academic scientist, but rather a pioneering innovator whose groundbreaking work had fundamentally advanced human understanding of aerodynamics, propulsion systems, and structural engineering principles that were essential for both commercial aviation safety and space exploration missions that represented humanity's greatest technological achievements and scientific endeavors. Her research had contributed to the development of advanced composite materials that were now standard components in commercial aircraft, revolutionary propulsion systems that had enabled more efficient and environmentally sustainable aviation operations, and sophisticated monitoring technologies that had prevented countless mechanical failures and potential catastrophes through early detection of structural problems and maintenance issues. The Mars rover landing systems that captured global attention last year, Rodriguez continued with obvious excitement and professional respect, incorporated structural analysis and materials research that Dr. Thompson pioneered during her work on NASA's advanced space exploration programs, and her research into aircraft fatigue monitoring has the potential to revolutionize how we predict and prevent mechanical failures in commercial aviation operations. Senior technicians and engineers who had gathered around the aircraft began expressing their amazement and professional interest in learning from someone whose work had contributed to some of the most significant technological achievements in human history, creating an atmosphere of respect and collaboration that stood in stark contrast to the discriminatory hostility and institutional bias that had characterized the initial reception of her legitimate research activities. The transformation from discrimination to recognition demonstrated how prejudiced assumptions and limited perspectives could prevent organizations from recognizing and benefiting from extraordinary expertise and innovative research that could advance their operations and contribute to broader technological progress and scientific understanding that benefited society as a whole. Chief Engineer Rodriguez immediately recognized that the discriminatory treatment Angela had experienced represented serious institutional failures that required comprehensive accountability measures and systematic reforms to prevent similar incidents from undermining the facility's reputation, legal compliance, and ability to maintain productive relationships with federal agencies and research institutions that were essential for ongoing operations and future technological advancement. "Mr. Kane," he said with unmistakable displeasure and authority as he addressed the maintenance engineer, whose discriminatory behavior had created serious problems for the organization and potentially violated federal regulations governing equal access and non-discrimination in federally funded research activities. "I need you to report to my office immediately for a comprehensive review of your conduct and professional judgment in this matter." His direct intervention and obvious disapproval sent a clear message to all employees that discriminatory behavior would not be tolerated and would result in serious consequences for anyone who violated company policies or federal regulations governing equal treatment and professional conduct in research and technical environments. Kane reluctantly stepped away from the aircraft with obvious resentment and defensive posturing that clearly indicated his inability to understand or acknowledge the inappropriate nature of his behavior toward a qualified researcher whose credentials and expertise exceeded those of virtually everyone working in the facility, including his own limited qualifications and narrow experience in traditional maintenance procedures. "Ma'am," Rodriguez continued as he turned to address Angela with genuine respect and professional admiration. I want to personally ensure that you receive full access to our facilities, technical staff, and any resources necessary for your research activities. And I hope this unfortunate incident will not discourage you from pursuing your important scientific work that could benefit our operations and the entire aviation industry. Angela graciously accepted his apology and collaborative offer, while maintaining her scientific objectivity and professional focus on conducting the research that had brought her to the facility despite the discriminatory obstacles and institutional barriers she had encountered from personnel who should have been supporting rather than obstructing legitimate scientific inquiry and technological advancement. The chief engineer immediately implemented emergency protocols to ensure that Angela received appropriate support and assistance from qualified technical staff who understood the importance of her research and possessed the professional maturity necessary to collaborate effectively with advanced researchers and scientific investigators who brought cutting-edge expertise and innovative methodologies to traditional maintenance and operations environments. Rodriguez also initiated immediate contact with facility management and legal counsel to assess the potential implications of the discriminatory incident and develop comprehensive prevention strategies that would ensure appropriate treatment and collaborative support for all future researchers and technical specialists, regardless of their demographic characteristics or the prejudiced assumptions of individual employees who might harbor bias against certain categories of professionals or scientific investigators. As Dr. Thompson began explaining the scope and implications of her current research project to the assembled group of engineers, technicians, and supervisory personnel who had gathered around the Boeing 787 to observe her analytical methods and learn from her expertise, the extraordinary significance of her work became increasingly apparent to everyone present in the maintenance hangar who realized they were witnessing cutting-edge scientific research that could fundamentally transform aircraft safety and operational efficiency through innovative technological applications and advanced analytical methodologies. The predictive maintenance system I'm developing, she explained with the clear authority and comprehensive knowledge that had made her one of the most respected researchers in aerospace engineering, utilizes advanced sensor networks, artificial intelligence algorithms, and real-time structural analysis to predict mechanical failures weeks or months before they occur, potentially preventing catastrophic accidents and saving billions of dollars in maintenance costs, while revolutionizing how airlines monitor and maintain their fleets. Her research combined theoretical physics, materials science, computer engineering, and practical aviation experience to create integrated systems that could continuously monitor aircraft structural integrity, detect microscopic changes in material properties, and predict maintenance requirements with unprecedented accuracy and reliability that exceeded anything currently available in commercial aviation operations. The implications of her work extended far beyond routine maintenance procedures to encompass fundamental improvements in aviation safety, operational efficiency, and environmental sustainability that could benefit airlines, passengers, and society as a whole through reduced fuel consumption, fewer flight delays, and enhanced protection against mechanical failures that had historically caused accidents and operational disruptions. Dr. Thompson's research, Chief Engineer Rodriguez explained to his staff with obvious excitement and professional pride, represents the future of aircraft maintenance and safety monitoring, and our facility has the extraordinary opportunity to contribute to scientific advancement that could save thousands of lives and transform the entire aviation industry through innovative technology and analytical capabilities. The assembled technical staff began asking sophisticated questions about sensor placement, data analysis algorithms, and implementation strategies that demonstrated their growing understanding of the revolutionary potential represented by Angela's research and their genuine interest in contributing to scientific advancement that transcended traditional boundaries between academic research and practical maintenance operations. Video recordings and social media posts from the impromptu technical presentation began spreading throughout the aviation industry, as word of Angela's groundbreaking research and the facility's initial discriminatory treatment created broader discussions about bias in technical fields and the importance of supporting innovative research that could advance safety and operational excellence in commercial aviation and aerospace technology development. The moment Dr. Thompson revealed the full scope of her NASA credentials and ongoing research projects that included classified space exploration technologies, advanced propulsion systems development, and revolutionary materials science that had contributed to humanity's most ambitious scientific endeavors. A profound transformation occurred throughout the maintenance facility as employees and management personnel began to fully comprehend the extraordinary level of expertise and achievement represented by the individual who had been so inappropriately treated, based solely on prejudiced assumptions and institutional bias. "Ladies and gentlemen," Chief Engineer Rodriguez announced with obvious pride and professional excitement as he addressed the assembled group of technicians, engineers, and supervisory staff who had gathered to witness what was becoming an unprecedented educational opportunity. "We have the extraordinary privilege of learning from Dr. Angela Thompson, Senior Research Scientist at NASA's Aerospace Research Division, whose groundbreaking work has contributed to Mars exploration missions, advanced spacecraft design, and revolutionary safety technologies that represent the cutting edge of human scientific achievement and technological innovation." The revelation created immediate silence, followed by expressions of amazement, professional respect, and growing awareness that they were in the presence of someone whose contributions to science and technology far exceeded anything they had previously encountered in their practical maintenance experience or traditional engineering education. Kane, who had been observing from a distance with obvious discomfort and professional embarrassment, finally began to understand the magnitude of his mistake and the extraordinary individual whose research and expertise he had so dismissively rejected based on superficial characteristics rather than factual assessment of her qualifications and achievements that represented decades of advanced education, scientific research, and technological innovation at the highest levels of aerospace engineering and space exploration science. Dr. Thompson's work on composite materials analysis, Rodriguez continued with genuine enthusiasm and professional admiration, has been incorporated into spacecraft that have traveled to Mars, advanced aircraft systems that have revolutionized commercial aviation safety, and innovative monitoring technologies that are now being implemented throughout the aerospace industry to prevent mechanical failures and enhance operational efficiency. The assembled staff began applauding spontaneously as they recognized the extraordinary opportunity to learn from someone whose research had contributed to some of humanity's greatest technological achievements and scientific discoveries, creating an atmosphere of respect, collaboration, and professional enthusiasm that demonstrated how quickly institutional culture could change when prejudiced assumptions were replaced by factual understanding and genuine appreciation for scientific excellence and innovative research. This is why truth always comes to light, and justice always finds its way. If this story shows you that dignity and respect matter more than assumptions, make sure you subscribe to see more stories where justice prevails. Because when we stand together against discrimination, we make real change happen. Following the revelation of Dr. Thompson's extraordinary NASA credentials and revolutionary research contributions that had fundamentally advanced aerospace engineering and space exploration technology, Chief Engineer Rodriguez immediately initiated comprehensive reforms to facility policies, employee training programs, and institutional culture that would ensure appropriate recognition and support for scientific research while eliminating discriminatory barriers that had prevented the organization from benefiting from cutting-edge expertise and innovative technological advancement. Kane was immediately enrolled in mandatory diversity training and sensitivity awareness programs that would address his discriminatory attitudes and professional misconduct, while providing him with education about contemporary scientific leadership and the importance of recognizing expertise regardless of demographic characteristics or personal biases that had no place in professional technical environments. The incident became a catalyst for industry-wide discussions about bias in aerospace engineering and the critical importance of supporting diverse researchers and innovative scientific investigation that could advance safety, efficiency, and technological progress throughout the aviation and space exploration industries that depended on collaborative relationships between academic institutions, government agencies, and private sector organizations. Angela's research presentation to facility staff became legendary within the company and throughout the broader aerospace community as video footage and technical documentation from her impromptu educational session spread across professional networks and social media platforms, inspiring countless young scientists and engineers while demonstrating the extraordinary contributions that diverse researchers could make to technological advancement and scientific progress when given appropriate support and collaborative opportunities. Within months of the incident, the maintenance facility had implemented Dr. Thompson's predictive maintenance technologies as part of a comprehensive modernization program that reduced mechanical failures by 40%, saved millions of dollars in operational costs, and established the organization as a leader in innovative aircraft safety and maintenance excellence that attracted attention from airlines and aerospace companies worldwide. The transformation extended beyond individual attitudes and company policies to influence broader conversations about diversity in STEM fields, the importance of recognizing and supporting innovative research regardless of the researcher's demographic characteristics, and the critical need for institutional changes that would ensure equal opportunities and collaborative support for all qualified scientists and engineers who could contribute to technological advancement and scientific progress. NASA recognized the facility's successful implementation of Angela's research by designating it as a preferred partner for future aerospace technology development projects, creating ongoing opportunities for collaboration between academic researchers, government scientists, and private sector engineers who shared common goals of advancing safety, efficiency, and innovation in aviation and space exploration technology. Dr. Thompson's story became a powerful example of how scientific excellence and professional dignity could triumph over institutional bias and discriminatory treatment, while creating opportunities for meaningful collaboration and technological advancement that benefited entire industries and contributed to broader scientific progress and human achievement. The lasting impact extended far beyond aerospace engineering to influence how scientific institutions, government agencies, and private companies approached questions of diversity, inclusion, and collaborative research that could unlock innovative solutions to complex technological challenges and advance human understanding of the natural world through interdisciplinary cooperation and mutual respect for expertise and scientific achievement, regardless of traditional barriers and prejudiced assumptions that had historically limited opportunities for qualified researchers and innovative thinkers. But Dr. Thompson's story is just one example of how truth always comes to light in the aviation industry. Next video. Watch what happens when a black executive's 18-year secret is revealed at an airport VIP lounge, when staff question his right to premium access. The most shocking management reveal in aviation history unfolds. You won't believe what happens when the real boss steps forward. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and turn on notifications for new content. Don't forget to hit the like button if this story moved you, and share your thoughts and opinions about this situation in the comments below.